Day one in Alaska, waiting to go. Anchorage, Alaska, waiting to go to the museum. Rick's inside checking it out for us. Clayton, this is for you. I was going to show you the strawberries here, how they grow. They planted. I mean, I know you know how they grow, but they plant all these. This here's at Talkeetna. We're stopped here on our way up to Denali. And this here's some of the mountains. It's a little cloudy.
Where's it supposed to be out there? Where's it supposed to be?
It's a little foggy, so you can't exactly see all of the top of the mountain. There's a plane, little plane taking off. If it happens to fly into my view, I'll get it. There it is. We're on the deck of the lodge here at Talkeetna.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll turn around here and show you the lodge.
That's it. You just can't see it. Yeah. Gorgeous. You could just sit out here.
We've seen a lot of flowers, some similar and some different.
Later on, but you're right here right now. None. Wow. Of course, I don't like it.
Inside there's a fireplace. I'm going to try and go in and get it. The stone here, he told the story about that the football team needed money for their uniforms and stuff that one year, so they hired the football team to haul all of these rocks up in gunny sacks and wheelbarrows. And the fireplace is made out of this, and there's big pillars up front of the building the same way.
I think we do have a TV.
Oh, okay. Can I hold you?
Yeah.
There's Nancy checking it out. Here's a map of it.
Thank you.
It's gonna be that way. Mount Dickey. Dickie Simmons. Crazy, man. Look at that. Hunter. Well, that's Mount Hunter. You can see Mount Hunter. That's Mount Hunter there. It's right here. That's why they tell you to put a call.
Here comes Chris and Dwayne down to check it out. Can you see me on there? Flowers here are just beautiful, so I'm going to try and get up here really close on a few of them. Thank you. This is the valley off of the deck here.
I got another card. So you're not sin or not?
How are we supposed to format this since you're the expert with format? You put the scenery to one side?
Here's a picture of the lodge from the lower deck where we were at.
I missed the last step too. You just said it too.
My knee, I'm just getting over a knee injury.
You can either way.
spring to pump out the condensation of water in the tanks. So people were just breaking down all over, up and down the highway. So they didn't do that anymore. They had some bad luck, those two. Denali National Park, 1970. Denali would be viewable from here and look pretty much right at 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock off Coach here. Now, a lot of these lakes that you see up in this area, a lot of railroad crossing again. Veer to the right here where you see this mound, you can sort of see where the roadway used to be, and it went down. We had another railroad crossing there. Just to give you an idea of how quickly things are built here, they built this entire bridge in 5 months. 5 months it took them to do this. It'd be nice if construction, when the weather's really bad, they follow the roadway up here. And so it's just so that planes and helicopters can see where the power lines cross the roadway.
This is the Savage River we're stopped at. Looking upstream where the glacier was. We're past the tree line a lot of it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get it. You missed me. Oh, good. You couldn't see that part, so I could see it. I'm saying, "Oh."
Little bear. I got it. Yep, do. Here, I got it. Look at that. Can you see it? Yeah. There, I can see it just perfect. This is going to be great, you guys. Let me stand up so I'll replay it when we get going. Hey Tom, there's your hunt.
Let me stand up so I can take a picture of her trying to.
He's walking away. Go ahead, stand up if you want. Okay, this is Denali Park, one of the rest stops. It's really cloudy here today, so we can't even see the tops of the mountains. We're up somewhat above the tree line in places. A lot of valley down in here. Just mountains all around us. Our bus stops. I'm gonna go clear on around and you can just see where I'm standing, that we're in the mountains where there's something everywhere. I've not seen a lot of animals other than the one that I took earlier. There's kind of some cool vegetation here. I suppose I better get out of the way. There's a bus coming, so. See?
Oh, I see.
Right. Where?
Oh, that's a bird.
Landed again on another.
I know,
Oh, I can't see it. See it? Not. try and get those.
We did have a sow and 2 yearling cousins in the area last night. And they sometimes get itchy feet, move out long distance in a short while, and other times they just hang around and keep the bears doing the science too bad. And what the science says is that this area is closed also technically for the next 5 miles. The idea is to go and leave the animals out here as undisturbed as possible so that people can enjoy them. Some days this is like the hot spot for animals here in the park, and also sometimes in the morning.
No, that's as far as it goes.
There's some more over here. Yeah. There's all 3 of them. There's all 3 of them.
What I'm going to do is just pull up a little bit more.
No, wait, I got them.
Okay, so I'll wait a little bit.
I'll show y'all.
Yeah, okay. Till he moves up.
Huh? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just hold still an animal, Leon. Yeah.
Okay.
So these bears were almost in the same location last night, so they got good feed here. They didn't really see any need to move around. You see those white flowers that are right next to the bears, or at least some of them? Those are bear flowers, and they do especially like eating them. The blossom, they'll often
Should I just
take
keep
the whole
videoing?
blossom in their mouth and eat it, along with the leaves and stems.
Well, you know, don't run out
They
of
also like eating the bluebells, so there's lots of them up there now too.
Now I
And they eat the whole plant, not just the blossom.
Yeah, see it?
There's the other one out there.
3 little bears.
There he is.
But they look pretty happy in that field of bluebells. Is real content. So one of the bus drivers had indicated that down the road a bit there's another bear sighting, and I've been watching the buses down there.
And there's another one
Just try
over
to be
there.
nice and quiet.
But I think that's Trace.
I don't know if you can see it here. Yeah, there, I'm getting it. No. We're looking for a bear. I see him. I don't see it yet through here. I can see it, but I can't see it through here.
Yeah. When should we come out here now?
I can't see it. Can you see him in here? You can't see him now. See him. I know it is. Behind the tree again. Just see it coming out of the tree behind the tree. Yeah. Can't see him now. Can you? Yeah. Oh yeah, I do. You can't see. I can't zoom in there for this one. She's got it. There he is. Get him, Nancy. Oh, now I lost him. Yeah, he's behind that tree.
Go and roll this basketball. Back. Chance to see them.
This is just the scenery of the stream, how it's running down here through the mountains. Oh, this is good, man. I got both of them. Did you? The wind quit blowing that leaf in my way. Here he comes.
Since this bus is moving, we're going to go. There's a couple
There he
other
goes.
buses
There he's walking away.
I should share the mirrors with me.
This is just the river. We're sitting on a bridge here.
Hey, does anybody see anything?
View.
If not, then we'll get going.
This is Mountain in Motion and Hot Rocks. We're on a stop. It's pretty foggy, so it's hard to see a lot of it. It is raining. Turn around here and get some of these rocks behind us. This is down into the riverbed from where we're standing. Hey, this is Rick and Jan up on top of the mountain. Rainy day.
Even with the front of the bus, we have a nice little patch of monkshood and blossom out there. Purple flowers of monkshood.
Hey, Connie, you get them all three together?
I got, yeah, but it's pretty far away. Well, I can't hold still enough.
Oh, I think I got spotted.
I can't find him in here though. I gotta.
You got it. You got it spotted.
I can't. Here, okay.
Right.
Yeah, now I see it. Yeah, I got it. Okay, now I got it.
They're good size.
See it, Dad? Can you see it in there?
The one right there, there's one come walking down.
You see it?
See it?
Good deal bigger.
He's eating.
Hamburger.
That's horrible.
He's moving. See him?
Well, the one I'm looking at isn't.
Go east.
Big racks on them.
You're not seeing that one.
No.
It'll be this way from where the other
Okay, now I see it.
She had the one you pointed at the other way. She had the one on the right there. Now she's got the other one up there.
I lost the other one.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have some. That's it. Yeah, mine's a bear. I didn't even try to put it in the same upside down.
I'm gonna quit.
Right together now.
He's taking the bath.
Eat the vegetation in the bottom of the bottle. So he'll go all the way underwater.
many feet did you say it was down?
250 or 96 feet deep, I think it was. 956 feet long.
Just slip in here beside you.
Good, thank you.
Mountains are becoming overcast as we get further down to Anchorage. We're at a stop, picking up some local people, I guess. Nancy, checking the train out. Curry, Alaska. From the train. We're into the hillsides now, the mountains. Well, or they're all covered, I guess. Mountains. No wildlife yet today. Pacific Ocean, riding on our train. Clouds on the road. Video up. Chris is running this. He's not too smart.
Well, that's yesterday. I thought I was filming bears for like 3 minutes, and I was doing nothing but looking.
Stand by.
Bring that up while you're up here.
Bird. This is just about 15 miles from Whittier. The glaciers you can see up there. I'm going to zoom in on a try. As you can tell, we're still in the train.
I don't see any more big rugged ones. Yeah, that's all snow.
Look at that one coming down that hill.
Nancy, see.
Oh, sorry.
We're in the tunnel now.
Oh, look at those stripes vibrations up at the top.
Boulders or something going down that one.
Yeah.
When we went back and forth of driving or taking a train, I said, I love trains. I can't wait for the train ride to work on this.
The boat sitting on the highway with the guy in it. Not sure why he's in his boat.
I'm trying to get it going.
Going down the highway.
That's funny.
There you go. You can see him in it. We're getting ready to go into the 3-mile tunnel. We just came out of the 1-mile tunnel, and we'll be to Whitaker soon.
Where I can't see out. That kind of makes me.
Whittier. I always say it.
Slow as
Okay, we're just taking off. The boat is moving now. Nancy and I and our family is really on a cruise. This here is what we can see off of our deck. We've eaten supper. Quite a fancy little supper we had tonight. Met some very interesting people. And now it's had our fire drill. Now it's 8 o'clock or so, and so we thought we'd come out and take some pictures and then decide what we're going to do for our evening activities. You can see the water here. We're moving. The water is really a bluish green. Over along the shore, you can see that better. Now I'll take you around here and show you the deck. There's Nancy. As you can see, it's a little windy. This is our deck. This is just the public deck. We are on the floor above. Part of the bridge. We'll show you more later. We're now at the back of the boat, and you can see our trailers leaving. You can see where we have been. Over here we've seen a barge also going into shore from where we were. Hey Nan, what time is it? It's like 8:52, so you can tell how light it is yet to be 8 o'clock at night here, almost 9 o'clock at night. So this is a little more of, we just walked around the back side of the boat, and these are some more of the mountains that we're passing by. Like I said, it's 9 o'clock at night, so it's pretty bright yet, and we'll try and get in a shot maybe at 10, 11, just to show you how dark it is even then. It's cloudy. The sun was shining earlier, so it's kind of chilly out. Can't really see the top of that mountain. I'll zoom in on it. Valley. Water flowing down off of the mountain up there down into that valley, and then on down into the sea here. Hot tub at the back of the boat. Kind of chilly out, no one using it right now. Can you hear the water? When we were below, you really couldn't hear it that well. It's coming off of the back of the boat. We're up on the almost top floor. back of the boat, 9 o'clock at night. No one's really too much around. Just kind of wanted to get a picture here to see what it's all like. Nancy. This is the turbine putting off the smoke that's running our boat. On the side there's a couple big, I don't know, they look like jets like on a plane, but I don't know what they are. Here's the other things I was telling you about. You can't see it all in one picture unless I jump out in the ocean to get that picture for you. We are getting ready to go into Hubbard Bay. What I'm trying to show you here now is some of the chunks of ice that are out here. Got a real glare off of the camera lens, so this is some of the ice chunks out here. Some of these you can see how blue they are. That's meaning that it's one that has just fallen recently. You can see that blue color in them. This one is kind of cool. I'm going to zoom in on it. Looks like a awful blue right there. So those are big chunks out in the ocean as we're heading into Hubbard Bay. There's some of the mountains. We're at the back of the boat now. Catch you later. Here's a blue chunk that's pretty new that just come down off the mountains there. A lot of little chunks over there you can see.
Let's go back up where you see. That's right down that valley, and this is the big Hubbard from this way.
So over here is the
Valerie. See that between those two mountains there? That's Valerie. And then the Hubbard is all that big mass that's going through that valley that comes down to there. And then
it's kind of chilly right here. The winds are blowing. My hands are freezing. No swimsuit on today. Okay, now Nancy's telling me that from what she learned today in her class, that from the water level up, just in the very front there where that is blue, that is 400 feet tall. Just in the front part there where you can see the blue. glacier there is 6.5 miles from here over to there, which from where we're at it looks like very small. At one time, I think he said we were about 5 miles away from the actual glacier. It doesn't look that far. Looks like we're less than a mile. But earlier we were saying it was 6.5 miles across here, and the guy narrating has said that if you go up in this area, up through there, it's 75 miles back in there is all the glacier of the part that would run down through here.
Water starts coming out and actually buoys up the ice and allows it to surge.
We're getting ready to go into Glacier Bay, and this is just a little boat that's out on the ocean where we are. Taking this through the window so you're seeing kind of a little bit of a glare. This is in Glacier Bay. As you can see, the glacier there.
The icebergs, and sometimes the harbor seals are seen up in this area too. So be on the lookout for those as well.
It's unusual with glaciers that we can be this close to it. They told us this morning we would be within 3/4 of a mile. And we will be going up there closer and docking at that area where we can see the glaciers now. Hoping to see some whales. Hopefully I can catch it on the camera. Sun is shining today a little bit, which is nice. It's still pretty chilly out. This here's a little, what is that, Nancy? A seal then?
Harbor seal.
Harbor seal, they said. Sitting out on an iceberg. It's pretty close here to the boat. So here's the glacier that we're getting really close to. I'm going to zoom in and show you. It is just huge. All the formations and stuff on it. We were hearing some, they call it the capping of the pieces of the glacier falling. Haven't been able to catch one, I even see one myself, but you can hear them.
Yeah, it takes so long for the sound to get here. It's already dead. But
It's already out hit. I'm going to go clear out and you can see then even how tall the mountain is up there. Can the seagulls are flying over, you can hear them. Here I'm trying to zoom in. There's another seal out here. Really peaceful. You can hear the seagulls flying over.
Did you get a picture of that? The ice, what do you call it? The glacier capping or not?
I got a little bit of splash after the fact. That's all.
That would be awesome.
But we could hear the rumble of that.
Seagull just landed here. we get closer here, there's just some absolutely ones that are just so blue. I don't know if I can zoom in that it'll show on here or not. Right in there, it's just really, really blue when you're looking at it.
I was at the gym at 8 this morning. There was a whale. No, she was already up, and I was trying to find her. As soon as I found
There's a big chunk right coast of the boat here.
God, I can't see anything out here though. It's such a glare.
How you doing, ladies? Come around, quick photo with the glacier. Both of you, get together, please. For me.
I should have this is how close we are on the boat. Not zoomed at all.
Where's that side? It's over there. There was a seal that jumped off the little ice cream.
Drinks. Like any drinks if you want?
My coffee card.
Yeah. Get my cup and get hot chocolate. Right over in here, a piece just fell. It didn't have a camera on. Not with me.
Mine are better.
I just had some caffeine involved, but we didn't quite get it fast enough. Some just fell from there, so I'm going to wait and see if some more does. You can hear it, but I haven't seen any. The boat is turning a little more, so you can see on the radar.
Oh, this is not good. I'm gonna keep moving. Well, all of a sudden, big one.
Oh, Nancy, I got it.
Oh, good. Because that
I don't know if you could hear this. It sounds like thunder.
You see the waves
They want another one. This is some of what fell.
I didn't. I heard sit down
Am I going here?
Without any zoom right here, we're that close where the front of the boat is turning around. Do what?
I said I'll probably maybe lay down or sit down. They're just
Some kayakers there on the. Okay. This is the John Hopkins Glacier that we are about 5 miles away from. Just, as she said, spectacular. You just can't imagine everything that you can see with your eyes compared to what you can see through this lens. We're at like 5 miles away from the, what did they say this was? John what? John Hopkins Glacier.
Yeah.
Years. The Grand Pacific Glacier altered the landscape and its surroundings, the surrounding water, and it has proven to bring about a great deal of change, a great diversity of life to the landscape. Life to an area that was once, not so long ago, covered and frozen in ice and frozen in time. So on behalf of the National Park Service, I would like to extend a very, very special thank you, not only on behalf of the National Park Service, but on behalf of Brandon, our Alaska Geographic representative, who's been working very hard today in the Horizon Court. And by the way, he will be closing that desk at 5 o'clock. So a thank you from Brandon and from Nat, our Marine Observer, and from Sierra, my co-ranger. Thank you for having us along with you today on a very special day. We've enjoyed it immensely. We will be here with you, as I mentioned, for a few more hours until about 7:45. Very special thank
Yep.
Oh, you'll show the, you'll see the body, no? You won't show the body.
Where there's no trees on the mortgage, on the lawn. Turn away. And then when somebody says there, and then you can take a picture.
Right. There it blows.
Right there you can see his body.
Yep.
I got it, I got it.
Whatever.
What's up, you go for 20 minutes, so we left. Starboard side, left side. Starboard and
Like there's 2 or 3 of them, isn't there? Is there 3? What?
What are those?
Sea lions?
Yeah. They are moving fast.
Every single time. Excuse me. Do you understand?
Oh, there it is. Watch out, Sonny. Where we been?
It's a sea otter.
I missed it yet.
I hadn't seen it yet either.
There he is.
He's like, he's playing.
Yeah, and see, we're going one way and they're going the other way, and it's like they move so fast that. This is Skagway. We're up on an overlook looking the town. 4 blocks by 23 blocks.
It's not man-made, it's woman-made, of course. Mother Nature. Sent a glacier here many years ago, and it's carved out.
Well, he would make a fine modern-day politician, put it that way, right? But you might feel bad for him when I tell you that he did not even get buried in the cemetery. It's true, you didn't waste your film, he's over there. But over here, this consecrated ground was set aside for the loved ones of our community. So the townspeople, when they buried Sophie, got out a map, drew a line, and it runs from the large cottonwood tree right down here for your legs, excuse me, all the way to the river, and booted Sophie 3 feet outside of the official cemetery boundaries. So he would be cast adrift for all eternity behind bars where they thought he belonged, right? But to come up these stairs, and who do we commemorate first? Sophie Smith, villain to the end, right? And con man to the end. Now you want to find out how he died, and we're going to tell you at the dead center.
Photogenic sign. Although, I'm not sure that's a good word. Wonderful opportunity to take a photo of the monument. Isn't it beautiful? Frank Reed, our hearing. Oh, that was a bad idea. I'm getting a cramp. Oh my God, man, don't shoot! I was setting you up, wasn't that terrible? Well, those were the last words heard. They came out of Sophie's mouth. Meant something a little different back then. Let me replay the scene. Is everybody here? Can you all see the front of the monument? Come on, yeah. My friends, do you remember Frank Reed? He was the city engineer and surveyor. He was also a tough frontiersman from Oregon. He was sick and tired of these outlaws, so he was standing guard outside the vigilante meeting with a 6-shooter on his hip. Who came ambling down towards him? The very guy he wanted to keep out, right? Good old Sophie. Now remember, Sophie was a little loosey-goosey and red-eye whiskey. And he had a Winchester repeating rifle slung over his shoulder. When Frank Reed saw him, as a gentleman should, he barely issued a warning, stop, turn around, Sophie ignored him. In fact, eyewitnesses said when those 2 men were within spitting distance from each other, Soapy had the gall to take that rifle off his shoulder and then swing it like a club. He was trying to knock Frank Reed off the dock and into the drink. Well, he was drunk and he missed. But my friends, that was all the provocation Frank Reed needed. He took the 6-shooter from his hip. He pulled back on the hammer and he fires. Click, nothing. That would have been the end of the story. He would have fired first, and that is what makes this the most dramatic gunfight in Alaska's history. There was a cruel twist of historic fate that day. When Frank Reed pulled back on the hammer, it fell on a faulty cartridge. No! In the time it took him to pull back on the hammer again, bringing another round into the chamber, Soapy had just enough time to regain his balance, bring his rifle back to dead center, and sure enough, the two men shot at exactly the same time. Soapy Smith got a shot to the heart. He was dead before he hit the dock. Frank Reed, not so lucky. Whoa! No pictures, please. There is poor Frank Reed. The guy got a shot to the groin. It shattered his pelvis. He died an agonizing 12 days later. Women, I wish you could see the men's faces right now. Well, of course the vigilantes heard the shot. They came running out. Who'd they see? That scoundrel Soapy Smith was finally dead. Hooray! But no time to celebrate, because now the new hero, Frank Reed, was writhing in pain and bleeding to death. They ripped the door off the warehouse and used it like a gurney, and they rushed the poor man to the Bishop Row Hospital when we used to have one. And there he sought medical attention for 12 agonizing days, but as you can see, to no avail. Now, meanwhile, back at the meeting hall, Cy Tanner, the newly appointed deputy marshal, an honest one this time, he was smart enough to deputize 25 of the vigilantes at that meeting. You know why? He knew he needed a posse to round up Soapy's gang. When they learned their dictator was dead, they knew they didn't have a chance in Skagway without that man, and they started running for the hills. Have you seen our hills? Trust me, it is not easy to run around here. They were rounded up pretty quickly, actually, and they were shipped down to Seattle. Do you know that 12 of them already have prices on their heads down there? Now, in all of this chaos and commotion, do you know that something, or I should say, someone, was forgotten? Poor Soapy. No one wanted to deal with him. In fact, they let him lay on that dock for over 24 hours in a pool of his own blood. It wasn't until the next day that something was done about him, and it was only because a steamship happened to pull into town, and these really nice women complained to the mayor. They said, hey, he had to step over a bloody dead guy on the dock just to get into town. You know what the mayor said? Welcome to Skagway. That didn't happen to anyone this morning, did it? Good. You know, it wasn't until the good Reverend John Sinclair of the Union Church that he got buried. Finally, someone had a little pity. He gathered parish funds and he hired a teamster with a wagon. And the two men carted the body out here, buried him outside the boundary. It is said to be the shortest funeral service in Skagway history. The Reverend opened the good book and he read, "The way of the transgressor is hard." Okay, amen, let's go on. But we're not sure who she was. We are sure who she was not. She was not Mrs. Soapy Smith, because we know she was down in St. Louis trying to raise their 6 kids. So we assume it was Soapy's mother-in-law. My friends, not 3, but over 2,000 people attended this man's service. It was a hero's farewell. They filled up the cemetery straight down to the river. They started passing hats that day because they wanted to raise enough money to erect this. A fitting granite monument for a hero, biggest one here. And it reads, Frank H. Reed, died July 20th, 1898. Age 54 years. Did anyone notice? He was an old man up here in those days. And it reads, he gave his life for the honor of Skagway. Boy, you're a tough crowd. I just gave that my best shot. I can't even get you to cry for our hero. You know what? You're smarter than I look. Did you know that not long after this was erected, people found out that Frank Reed was no better than Soapy Smith? Oh. Did you know that this guy was wanted for murder in Sweet Home, Oregon? That only 1 year prior to this event, he found himself before a judge in Oregon, and he claimed self-defense to shooting an unarmed man in the back. He paid that judge off handsomely to flee those charges, and he hightailed it up to Skagway where no one knew about his murderous past. And while here, well, he turned over a new leaf. He became the respectable city engineer and surveyor. You know how? He stole the transit from the real surveyor while he was on the trail. And he used it to lay those streets out straight and through, just like you see them today, and he did it consciously over our founder, Captain William Moore's legitimate homestead claim made 10 years earlier. And he sold off Captain Moore's land as if it was his own and pocketed the money. So let's sum this guy up, shall we? Frank Reed. Let's see, he was a murderer, he was a thief, an imposter, and worst of all in Alaska, a claim jumper. But we choose to forget all that.
Because here in Skagway on Granite, he'll forever be remembered as the hero of our town. Everyone, we think there's a moral to the story.
Die on a good day. Timing is everything. And now...
There you go.
Into the soil because it's trying to take hold so it can grow and thrive on this tree. Out of all these trees going on, whoever gets their roots in the soil first is going to take hold. Not all of these can survive, okay? They're all in too close a proximity. So it'll be interesting to see who survives, who dies. I'll show you a really cool example of these guys though later on the trail. We'll keep moving, guys, and we made it past the uphill, so you should be good to go, okay? Hope everybody's... If you can't hear me, you can just, tell me to be louder. I'll teach you how to survive around here. Just by looking at these two trees, can anyone tell me what do you think would be the best way to differentiate between the two types here?
The bark.
The bark. All right, we have somebody awake. We'll get the rest of you guys awake by the end. The air is like coffee around here, I swear. It just wakes you up. It's nice. All right, so the bark, because if you look up, we already know everything's covered in moss, okay? So take a look at the growth pattern on this tree. I'm going to say something that's going to sound quite strange, but I swear it will help you remember, okay? Look at how it grows in these like circular patterns. Can everybody see this? Kind of like chips or scales. Think of this as the potato chip tree, okay? This is the Sitka spruce. So then we have this tree over here. We got these long edges going up and down, kind of serrated almost. This is the bacon tree, okay? This is the western hemlock. So we have potato chip, bacon, Sitka spruce, western hemlock. Now, I'm not just trying to fill you with this random tree knowledge, okay? This is important. This sap coming out of this tree, this is the most flammable substance in this entire forest, okay? It's going to burn wet or dry, and it'll burn for a long amount of time so you can get a fire started. If you're, walking around here, you really don't know it's edible or not, you don't really want to risk it, you probably shouldn't. The Cambrian layer, the inner bark of this tree is edible, so it'll help sustain you, okay? So, now you guys can survive in here, okay? Summer, winter, whichever. Hopefully, if you just listen to me and stay on the trail, you won't need these instructions, right? But just in case. So, we'll keep moving on down this way. I'll quiz you guys later on that. So. The entire world next to the Amazon. And while the Amazon's kind of a household name, the Tongass for some reason really isn't. It's kind of a secret, not many.
Where we were at yesterday, didn't have all this moss.
Okay. This is the national property boundary. Not too important. Basically how it works is the Alaska Rainforest Sanctuary, the company I work for, the tour you're on, own privately 60 acres of the Tongass, okay? So we kind of make a line right about here, go down, it's all privately owned. I already mentioned the Tongass is 16.8 million acres large. Almost all of the rest of it, not quite all of it, is public land. All this way is public land. So, if you're a United States citizen and you pay your taxes, you own part of this land, right? Not too bad. There's obviously not going to be any fences or anything because I want the wildlife to as they naturally would. So if you see these red markings, it just means that's a property boundary. A lot of you noticing with your cameras this big, huge growth on this tree, right? Looking kind of strange. This is not a pregnant tree. It's not how trees reproduce, okay? This is called a burl. B-U-R-L, burl. And this is one of those weird phenomenons in nature that the scientists can't really figure out why these are here, okay? Some have hypothesized that it's a cancer of the tree or grew out of a wound. It's never been proven. They found larvae, insects, nests, cannonballs inside these burls. They still cannot determine why these are here. Have you ever seen those really expensive tabletops that got the crazy, swirly, grainy pattern on them? They're made from me. They also make bowls, things like that. If this was healthy right here, it would be worth somewhere between $15,000 and $30,000. They're very expensive because they can't farm them because they don't know why they're here. So pretty much you're never going to have Walmart brand burl tabletops, okay? The price will always remain high. So that's kind of just that. They actually have I know they're having a problem in the redwoods with burl poaching as well as like the Cascade Mountains. People go out there with, pickup trucks and chainsaws, saw it down and sell it on the black market. I would think it'd be hard to sell one of those things, right? It's huge, but people do it, so they make a lot of money. Can anybody tell me what this structure right here is? Root system, alright, bingo, it's a root system. This tree fell over about 30 years ago, right? There's some moss growing on it, but it's just showing our roots. And this is just proving that I wasn't lying to you before about that little small amount of topsoil we have. I don't know if you remember that at the beginning of the trail. If we had a lot of soil, like let's say in the redwoods, the roots would go straight down, okay? They go yards and yards into the ground there. Here we only have a little bit of soil, all we have is rock, okay? So they can't go anywhere down, they have to spread out horizontally. A large tree, their roots can go out 100 to 200 feet in every direction. They can cling on to hundreds of other trees. So it literally creates this mesh network of this forest and everything is essentially connected. It's pretty cool. It's a lot like that movie Avatar, if you guys saw that. Subtract the neon colors and the blinking lights and you pretty much got the tongues without plugging in. So, kind of how it is. I always think they built that movie off this forest, but I'm biased, so who knows. It's pretty cool though. We have really high windstorms here. We can get 75-mile-an-hour sustainable winds. You don't see this on CNN, not curling in a circle. But with that, it really helps the trees to stay up if they can hold on to each other by the roots. Because they're allowing us to see them. I'm going to pull this corner wide, it's kind of steep. My boss said she's seen a wolf out here once, and she was out here by herself. Like, they're not going to show themselves with such a large group. And they're not going to want to come near a large group like this, so we should be good to go. It's not uncommon though, like around here I know a lot of my friends, their dog will run away for a few days and they'll come back and they'll have half-wolf puppies. And they're really cute puppies. The only problem is they have like natural instincts to be more aggressive, and so a lot of the times they have to be put down. One day if left undisturbed, alright? Basically these roots are what, like 12 feet up because this grew out of a nursery log or a nursery stump, and as time proceeded it decomposed underneath it, leaving this hole. You guys came to Alaska, especially to Ketchikan, on a great day. It's not raining. That makes it a great day. You gave on one of the, 12 days a year that's not, so lucky for you. So you probably don't believe me, but it literally is always raining around here, and these would be the only place in the forest that'll stay dry for hundreds of years, okay? So a lot of animals like to hang out in these. We have like mink, marten, weasels, bear cubs, Alaskan children, right? Everybody will come in here, hang out for the day. I'll tell you what, growing up here, there's really not much to do. Basically go outside and play in the woods and make a fort. And my neighbors were boys, so that's what we did all the time, right? And so you can go play in one of these. The only problem is you're gonna come out and you're gonna be covered in this stuff, okay? Everybody see, this is called mulch. If anyone gardens, it's great for gardening. It makes things grow huge. The problem is if you're playing in it, you're going to come out looking like rusty nails. Your mom's not going to be very happy. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Anyway, that's not that. If you guys want to take a picture with this tree, this is a great one to take a picture of. This is less than 200 years old. It's already dying. It's western hemlock. They grow very, very fast. And so the rings are too far apart, making too much water in there, so it'll die a lot faster. You can tell by this white stuff in the middle of the tree. It's already decaying, so it's kind of unfortunate. You see these berries here? here. On some of them later on in the trail, they're red. This one's not quite ripe yet. Do not eat these berries, okay? These are a no-no. These are not ones you want to eat. These are toxic for people unless you cook them. If you eat one, it's not going to kill you. You actually have to eat a lot to kill yourself. This berry, though, is a natural ipecac, so most likely you'll puke and you'll be fine, but you're not going to feel very good. So, anyway.
Red elderberry.
Weird growth on this tree. Everybody see this weird thing? It was actually also on the inside of the western hemlock. You saw the white stuff in there. This is called bear's bread or artist conch, okay? This is like an old piece that fell off probably like 2 months ago. I just found it here this morning. So it's pretty tough, okay, because it's all dried out. You can kind of get a feel for what it is if you want to pass it around. Bear's bread, the bears do eat it. They only eat it right before hibernation, along with like twigs and sticks and mud and rocks. They have to put a cork in their system, okay? They don't like to release excess nutrients while they sleep. So that's kind of how that works. It's also called artist conch because the Native Americans in the area, they used to use the underside, the white side, to paint on, okay? They're going to paint their crest symbols, things like that. It's kind of their territorial marking. The eagles, ravens, killer whales, things like this, okay? These can be huge. This can weigh like 400 pounds, okay, if it's big enough. This has a nice big tree. The thing about it is it only grows on a dead or decaying tree, so it's a sign that that tree is in the later stages. That's why I knew that this one's dying, so it's on the inside of that tree. You saw the white stuff on the long-legged western hemlock. And these are pretty small ones, but it's kind of interesting to look at because it's random, but that's what it is. So anyway, that's enough about that. We'll keep going on this way, okay, guys? We're not going. Really? The trail, yes. Well, I know all the ships have different things of saying how our trail is. Why don't you take a look at this tree? Can anyone tell me what type of tree this is? Anyone remember?
Sitka spruce. Sitka spruce.
Sitka spruce. All right. What about this one over here?
It's a western hemlock.
You didn't even need that. Yeah, there we go. Bacon, right? Bacon and potato chip. Yeah. You guys don't even need the food name, shoot. But I don't know. Whenever I think of the food name first. It's a lot easier just to think of it right that way. Okay. So yeah, this is the potato chip, Sitka spruce, western hemlock. You guys are doing pretty good though. Shoot. Do you guys see these markings on this tree? Yeah, bear claw marks, right? Bingo. A lot of people think this is a territorial marking for a bear. This is incorrect, okay? Actually, this light gray dusting at the base of the tree, this is a territorial marking. Pretty much, we don't have Charmin in this forest like on the commercials. And so bears have a scent gland at the top of their behind, and that's kind of what's going on with that, right? I don't want to touch it. But it's kind of interesting to see, like, this claw mark doesn't really match my hand very well, kind of. Bears don't have these long fingers like we do, okay? And they have a much broader paw. On this paw, there's like a sandpapery type substance. That's what they have to use to climb the trees, okay? If they use their claws, their weight's just going to pull them down. And so you can actually watch as this bear climbs this tree. You can follow these markings here, okay? Here, and here, and here. A full-grown bear could probably only get about 5 or 6 feet up this tree. It's much too small in diameter, okay? They need something larger to climb onto. It's perfect for cubs, though, because they can get 25, 30 feet up, no problem. So, don't forget to look up on your bear watch, right?
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions? We're doing good? Everybody can hear me? Okay. About this stream for a second, okay? This is called Eagle Creek. It's a nice name. Actually kind of a waste of a nice name, because if you look around, there are no eagles back here, okay? Eagles like to soar and glide. They have lots of space, so generally they're not going to come back here. Of course, I said this a few days ago, and then there's an eagle sitting right behind me, and it kind of killed my spiel. But generally, usually, most of the time, they're not. Okay? This little creek right here, this is a pink salmon spawning stream. Doesn't look like much. Pink salmon are the smallest of the 5 types of salmon. You guys learned like the 5-finger test, like the pinks, the silvers, the kings, sockeyes, and chum. Did everybody remember this? Well, I'll teach it to you. All right, it's just an easy way to remember the 5 types of salmon, all right? You have pinks on your pinky, silvers on your ring finger, like silver, I guess. Kings on your middle finger, because they're the biggest, and so is it. Sockeyes for your pointer, because you can sock your eye, and chum for your thumb, okay? Either way. So you have pinks, silvers, kings, sockeyes, and chums. 5 types of salmon. Pinks are the smallest of the 5 salmon. This is a pink salmon spawning stream. They only need about 1 or 2 inches of water to spawn upstream, so this is plenty of water. Again, you guys came at a great time because, number 1, it's not raining. And number 2, the pinks aren't spawning. Do you know how bad thousands upon thousands of rotting salmon smell? It doesn't smell very good in here in August, and so it's really hard for me to give a tour while trying to hold my breath. It just doesn't work very well, and it's nasty looking, and there's carcasses all over the bank, you know, they're all over here because the animals bring them around. Smelly, just not enjoyable. So I prefer it this way. But enough about that little tree, so it won't be too bad. All of these salmon, a lot of people ask me, you know, like, do you guys pick them up and things like that? We don't. It's all naturally decomposed. It all helps become part of the soil content and the nutrients, and basically becomes the food for the next generation. That's kind of how it works for some guys. This is a secondary growth forest. If you guys look at the tree across the stream here, that big, huge, tall one, that's an old growth, right? Those are not very common around here. This is a secondary growth forest. That's the tallest tree we have here at the Alaska Rainforest Sanctuary. It's 214 feet tall. Okay. This is a Sitka spruce. Sitka spruce generally are less than 200 feet tall, and so this is pretty big. This is still growing. It is, Sitka spruce is a very good quality wood. It's what they use for like pianos and violins, things like that. It has almost the same breaking point as steel, actually. They use it in a lot of aviation. I don't know if you've ever heard of the spruce goose. It's a plane used in World War II, and only flew for like 200 feet, but it was made of spruce. They say if they were to cut down this tree, they could easily frame a 4-bedroom house with just the lumber in that one tree. It's pretty amazing. A lot of wood over there.
Tree up there, and birds that make up. We're our apple.
Bear poop. Bear poop.
For learners tree, alright? And this is the tree the mother bears will use to teach her cubs how to climb. So, how it's going to work. She's going to put her cub at the base of this tree, alright, with its back on the trunk. She's going to scoot back like 25, 30 feet, you know, and all of a sudden she's going to get the crazy mom face on, right? Super mad, unpredictable, you don't know what's going to happen face. Everybody knows the face, right? She's going to paw at the ground, the hair in her neck is going to raise, she's going to show her teeth, and she's going to make a really high-pitched squealy sound, okay? I can't really mimic it, I'm sorry. She's going to start charging this cub. Pedal to the metal, full force ahead. Bears any directional lane go 30 miles an hour, up to 35. Up trees 10 to 15, so she's booking it, right? By this time, this cub is freaking out. What am I going to do? The only person I've ever known is about to kill me. And so it's going to turn to run away, and there's a tree in its way. At first, they don't know they have to use that sandpapery type substance on their paws to climb trees. And they're going to try to use their claws, okay? So you can see these claw marks, their weight's just going to pull them back down, alright? Hold down on the side here. So, this cub's going to fall down. She's going to do it again. Fall down, do it again. Fall down, do it again. Until this cub can learn to get up the tree and get up fast, right? Essentially after that, she gives them the look, you know, to get up the tree. So, that's how it kind of works. Interesting tactic, I guess. Female bears are the most ferocious thing you will ever meet in this forest, okay? She weighs like half that of a male bear, but no matter what, she's always going to win, okay? Especially if she has her cubs with her. So, if you do see cubs in a forest, please don't go near them, because most likely she's not far away. So, careful with that. Like last week, I was walking up this trail, or you know, where the bus came and dropped you off at the trailhead, and I saw these 2 little cubs in this tree. They're like just, you know, 3-4 months old. They're really tiny. They've been up this tree for like 45 minutes, and they were having a hard time getting down. So they finally almost made it all the way down, and the mom, she had to go back up and get them down. And it was kind of funny. It was pretty cute, though. Usually it's like between like 1 and 4 cubs. So she let you back. Does everybody remember my rule? Stay on the trail. All right, stay on the trail. All right. Drilling it into your brain. This is one of the reasons why, okay? One of the many. This hole right here, this is called a muskeg, okay? Basically, it's composed because all the runoff on the side of the mountain is running off into here. Then it has nowhere to go, so it just kind of sits and collects. Hasn't rained in about 4 days, which is like a serious drought around here. But usually this puddle is much bigger, so it's just kind of tiny right now. But let's see if I can get the right spot still. Yeah. You guys look at that. I don't know if you can see behind me. It's kind of deep, okay? Everybody see that? It's about 2 feet deep. Not too bad. Probably doesn't look that deep, right? Only looks to be a few inches deep. The thing about these holes is they can be 15 to 20 feet deep, okay? And it looks just like this, and you never expect it. It's not like quicksand, where, you know, you're gonna have time to run, or not run, but yell for help. It's basically a suction cup, okay, and it just pulls you to the bottom. And so, if you stepped in this, you lose your shoe. If you stepped in a larger one, you'd have to donate yourself to archaeology. It's just the way it is, I'm sorry. They're quite similar to the Irish peat bogs. I don't know if you heard about those, but they recently excavated them and they found people over 1,500 years old perfectly preserved, okay? Very high acidic content. Same with the muskegs, high acidic content. You can fall in there, they'll pull you out a few thousand years later, you can be perfectly preserved, you know, fanny pack and all, I don't know, camera in hand, iPod in, just to give you a little visual, shocked on the way down maybe, like, so that's kind of how they work. And moss can also grow over them, so you have to be very careful. These can be miles huge, like
So stay on the trail.
Bear watching tour trail, so pretty much the same thing as I saw. We'll keep moving on this way. You guys notice, you probably noticed this plant next to the, please don't touch this one, okay? Touching it, I know I'm breaking my own rules. This is called Devil's Club. You can see all these thorns on the underneath of these leaves everywhere. These thorns are mildly toxic. If you get them into you, they're not going to come out until they fester, which takes days to weeks. I actually got one like right here, like last week. You see that little hole in my hand? Not too bad, came out. So just be careful about that guy, okay?
Say the name again.
Devil's Club.
Devil's Club.
Devil's Club. It's kind of the Alaskan version of like poison oak or poison ivy. You guys can take a look in the back on your left here. Devil's Club is in the ginseng family, okay? So basically it's like the pharmaceutical company of plants is the ginseng family. So it actually has a lot of medicinal values. If you were to shuck off the outer thorns of this plant and the outer bark, the inner bark, it's like a white pulpy stuff people use to make a hand cream that's good for rheumatoid arthritis, okay? You can also make tea out of the inner bark, which is good for the common cold. It eases the pain of stomach ulcers and stomach cancer and throat cancer, things like this. Oh, you see that?
It was a bird, yeah.
Is that a raven?
I think something big.
Something big, or was it evil?
I couldn't tell.
It looked black.
Is it black?
What's black?
Ravens look like big overgrown crows, pretty much.
Right.
There's an eagle going right through there.
Yeah.
Crow, raven.
Yeah. So yeah, you can make tea out of this. When these plants get a little bigger, this is a kind of mini one. You can eat these little red berries, and they're also used to make a shampoo that kills lice. So super random stuff. We don't manufacture Devil's Club on the island, but I think you can get that kind of stuff at any health food store. Just about. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't go down the trail. So, any guesses as to what this is? You guys can come on closer if you want to. Bear's Den. Bingo. All right, Bear's Den. I like that. This is a bear's den, okay? It's an abandoned bear's den, so don't worry. This is a transient bear den. So that means it's not really a common bear den, okay? It's kind of unusual. Most of the time, these dens are going to be higher up in the mountains, okay? Bears don't like all this foot traffic while they're sleeping. You probably wouldn't either. They're also way too big. This could be like 3 full-grown bears in it, okay? Way too big. They like them smaller because they want the most insulation possible while they're sleeping. So, what is a bear doing down here building this den? Why is this here? It shouldn't be, right? We usually refer to this as a confused bear, okay? Perhaps they lost their mother when they were young and they didn't learn how to hibernate properly. Or, male bears have to gain about 20% more body mass, females about 35 in order to sleep the full 5 months. And if they don't, they'll, use a transient den, maybe sleep for a few weeks or something, come out, get some food, and go to a new den. They're never going to return to these, because once this opens, it's like an explosion of smell basically. And a lot of animals around here are searching for that and trying to track that scent down to their next destination. They don't return to these things, okay? It's been abandoned for quite a while. The females, when they go into hibernation, they become pregnant. About 2 months later, they're going to have their cubs between 1 and 4, as I already said. These cubs are very tiny, all right? They're like between 6 and 10 ounces, less than a pound. Super small bear cubs. She may go back to sleep or stay awake. The cubs will nurse. She'll wake up at the end, and they'll be somewhere between 10 and 20 pounds. So, pretty much the easy way to have kids, right? Not too bad? Seems too bad, at least. So it's kind of cool. This is a bear den. Most of the time, they're not going to be this open, too. Like, you could be walking over one. You wouldn't even know. It's going to be, like, underneath the root system. They'll dig it out and stuff like that, so. In this entire forest, okay? This is the Alaska blueberry. We have about 3 different types of blueberry. This is the biggest, so put Alaska in the name, right? The leaves as well as the berries are completely edible. This is a big, nice, big berry. They're about half the size of the ones you have in the store back home, okay? They also have 10 times the amount of antioxidants. 10 times. Very, very good for you. So, it's kind of like a cure-all. Maybe you're feeling a little sick, catching a cold, a little seasickness. probably been a long week on this ship, right? Some long nights. Basically, pop a handful of these leaves in or berries and you perk right up. So you guys can try. This one doesn't really have very many coming out. I'll show you some later on. They're like the Alaska blueberries, the light blue ones. The early blueberries like a darker, shinier colored. I'll show you both of them. But if you want, you can taste the leaf. Most people don't believe me, so they make me eat one. Tastes like a leaf, doesn't taste like a blueberry, so be prepared for that. But you can try one if you like. Anyway, we'll keep moving on. They have quite a bitter taste, right? Alright, so I want to take a look at this tree. Many years, 40 years. Been hanging at about a 45-degree angle for quite some time. And it's been rotting from the inside out, okay? So there's a lot of water on the inside. In April, we had a cold storm, and so they believe all the water froze, and as you know, water expands as it freezes, and it has finally built up so much pressure that it literally exploded from the middle. It just exploded out, sounded like a gunshot, like a huge explosion. Nobody had any idea what happened. Came out here, and this is kind of the byproduct of this. So, kind of crazy, but it wasn't actually an all-natural occurrence, so it's kind of cool. Yeah. A light blue, very good down. This is called deer heart or false lily of the valley, okay? Okay? I don't know. I can eat them and I'm fine, and my best friend gets hives, so I don't know.
Hives are not fun.
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, I don't know. It just works out. It's not going to kill you or anything, and it is edible. You can eat them.
What were they called?
It's called deer heart or false lily of the valley. I'm told down in the lower continental U.S. they have things like look like this that are called false lily of the valley. Just see us getting these little flowers on here.
Yeah. Is this what I thought it was?
Yeah. See. This is my favorite tree on the whole tour. Okay. This is the red alder. This is the tree. Well, first off, to distinguish it, you're gonna know it's a red alder if you touch it. If you guys would like, you can get a little interaction here. This tree is very, very soft. It's never going to give you splinters or anything, okay? It's almost furry in spots, like hairy feeling. You guys can touch it. Red cedar. This is the tree the Native Americans used to make their totem poles and canoes, okay? They're going to use the inner bark and they're weaving it into hats, baskets, and clothing. They actually weave it so tight that it's waterproof. Interesting thing, the inner bark has a toxin in it that repels bugs. So if you guys ever seen those like cedar chests, cedar boxes, they smell super good. Put anything in there, rest assured it's not going to get eaten by moths and stuff. So that's how you know. Another weird thing, that same toxin in the inner bark, it makes the area around this tree 4 to 5 degrees warmer than the outside air. So if you're literally like a tree hugging type of person, this one will kind of hug you back. So it's kind of cool. Take a picture. Looking at this tree, there's a lot of moss on it, right? The moss, it might look like it's killing the tree or it's kind of dead, decayed. It kind of looks like a bad sign, basically. This moss, the moss on all of these trees is a sign of growth, vitality, health for the tree. It's a good thing, all right? Very positive. See if I can get an example. You guys look at these trees up here. Look at how the canopy layer at the very top of the tree, it doesn't have any moss in it. Does everybody see that? There's never any moss at the top. It's only the lower branches. How it's working, the mentality of it. The canopy is gaining all the sunlight for the tree, okay? The underneath branches are not aiding the tree anyway. They're just hanging out, doing their thing. They're not helping. The tree doesn't really want them around, okay? So it's using the moss to decompose the lower branches. They'll fall off so that it can grow bigger and stronger upwards. Pretty smart idea, but that's how it's working, okay? The moss on the trees, it's called cattail moss. It was used in World War I actually as gauze. These are the light blueberries. If you guys tasted the darker blue ones, these ones taste quite different, okay? I think these are better. This is a really young bush, so try to get a nice big one. You know, bigger is better with the blueberry thing, okay? And it tastes a lot better. So if you want, you could try one of those. It's off of the same bush. Or old man's beard a second ago. You guys take a look at this light green stuff hanging in this tree. See how it's different from the other tree moss? It's actually a lichen, it's not a moss, okay? This is called old man's beard or angel hair or Methuselah's beard. All three of them are correct. Strange names. The interesting thing about this stuff is it can only grow in 98% pollution-free air, okay? So, breathe it in now, right? Because if you live in LA, I'm sorry you can't take us home. I'll probably shrivel up and die in about 4 seconds. So,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
luckily here in Ketchikan, you know, we've never really had a
Can you
pollution
find it?
problem, so it's kind of nice. I know that in Sitka lately they were having a problem. They're losing their old man's beer and they don't know why. Can't figure it out. So that's definitely a problem.
Could be about in here, shouldn't it?
But
I'm
you
trying
guys
to
are probably
find
really
it.
tired about plants, okay? So we're gonna head on out this way. Our next stop is we're gonna go out into the estuary. An estuary is the area where the freshwater and the saltwater meet. So it's kind of this weird intertidal zone. There's a lot of nutrients going on. So hopefully, cross your fingers, we'll get to see some wildlife out there feeding. Anyway, come on this way. In the estuary,
can't
it's a
find it.
boardwalk, so it should be a lot easier with the wheelchair, okay? However, they have they'll be all black, they'll
There's
be
an
all
eagle.
brown, maybe some white.
I can hold it
copper
still.
streaking. And so the eagle doesn't fully mature with the white head and white tail until they're about 7 years old. Okay, so before that, they're going to be a juvenile, like a teenager. And we have about 80% juvenile, 20% adult rates. So that's really a sign of a growing eagle population. All right, so you'll probably see a lot of the all brown ones. That's a raven again. They make a lot of different sounds. And if you hear there's going to be like a screeching sound, that's going to be a eagle sound. Okay? When you hear some, I'll let you know. But it's kind of listening, okay?
What is that over there where the salmon are spawning? Is that what that is?
What?
Over there. Is that the salmon where they have?
Here comes an eagle right this way. There's this guy coming right up here.
You're okay because I'm way up. Pink salmon, little baby ones.
Yeah, that's an eagle sound. I don't know what to expect. Alright, so this is the hatchery that we're looking at, okay? Which are this big to their fry, which is about this big. They're going to release them into these streams around town. The fish have a completely natural life cycle after that. They're going to go out to streams about between 2 and 7 years, depending on what type of salmon. And they're going to come right back here to spawn. When they're released into these waters, it's a imprint in their mind. They smell the silt, which is the mineral content of the water, and that's how they know right exactly where to come back, okay? So, since these are hatchery fish coming out of here, they're going to come back and they would want to spawn in this hatchery. You see all these fish over here, they're kind of circling around this fish ladder, okay? This ladder here, it's got these steps.
Oh, there's a big one.
They think they're going up rocks. They think they're doing the right thing. These fish are eventually going to hop all the way up the ladder and into the pen back there, okay? Once they get into that metal pen, they're going to be like, oh shoot, I went the wrong way. I I'm not going to spawn, right? They're going to refuse to lay their eggs. But for the handlers in the pen, they have to milk the salmon. So what they do is they just like pinch under their neck, rub down their stomach, the eggs release, same thing with the males, and you won't have the next batch the next year. That's how it is. Probably didn't know you can milk the salmon, but you can. Not too bad. Between 5 and 7 cents.
All right. Then I'll do it.
Another one just landed up in the top of that.
This is another one.
Oh, yeah, Sam.
Right there?
Bird coffee.
Oh, yeah. Clayton's gonna be jealous. Look how many I see him. You can see in the water they're jumping. It's the salmon. They're big salmon jumping there. It's hard to tell in my viewfinder where I'm at with the sun shining.
I don't think so. My little one will cut me.
These really aren't in much of a rush right now, you know?
Get around the corner.
Lucky.
Go just a little bit here to the right.
See, then you get dark, but
Yeah, but they're in the dark around. I think you can see them
See
better
them.
over here in the dark. You'll be able to see it when it's on the computer. Because they just keep like following the same road.
yeah.
Dwayne. You got chased off.
They just let them die there in the water.
Well, they're going up. Trying to get back upstream.
Dropping.
They go clear up there.
It's pretty flower out here. What's the...
No. Send it to it, Brand.
You shut off that.
Yeah, I was pretty sure
Yeah.
Small bird, we call it ice bird in the
Blue herring.
Yeah.
translated.
Yeah.
It's all here.
It's light blue.
The gray and white. Kingfisher. That's a kingfisher. Okay, it's either gray or a light blue, and it makes kind of like a repetitive, choppy sound, like.
He was all sitting on the log down when he got something.
Yeah, that's a kingfisher.
There's some blue heron here.
Look at this blue hair. You can see the side of this guy. He's pretty good. He's kind of grayish too. It's pretty cool though. I haven't seen him in a while. Thought he left.
It was just way.
Well, we're seeing all of them today. I can't believe it.
Is my elbow in your way?
Before very good tour.
These are the reindeer.
Hello, buddies.
These are all female reindeer, okay? Females as well as males. They're antlers.
Get back when I'm a... Dwayne, feed him. Dwayne, feed him.
Snap the picture. I have some. Use your other arm,
Yeah,
Dwayne.
there's some
Other hand there. Because it blocks out.
Yeah, we just have a couple minutes. You can feed them real quick. I'm a little late
Got a little closer, bud.
So you guys can finish up real quick, get a few more snaps. We gotta keep moving. I'm sorry, I know we only have a second here. We've got to get you back on time, right?
Yeah.
So once you check out this piece of wood, this is actually from a woodworm called a chorito, which is kind of interesting to look at. But we're just gonna walk on through here, right, guys? Talk about mill real ready for the locals.
This is a mill.
There were 3 fires in its day, as you can see. They believe it was just a spark in the machine and sawdust, kind of bada bing, bada boom. Luckily, no one was injured or killed. The average age of Ben's employee was about 65. These guys are older, more trusted men that have been in the logging industry a long time, doing what they were doing. Ben died about 10 years ago, and his daughter inherited the company. She also inherited a lot of problems. This place broke 500 million safety codes, and so it was too expensive to fix at the time, and so she just sold it to us for educational purposes. As you can see, the TV is all part of the original 1959 equipment, right? If you guys would like, we can watch an educational video about sawmills, or we can head straight to the Raptor Center and spend more time with the Bruce. Very good choice, okay? Probably just come to the left.
They can see up to 2 miles away and in color. Their talons have locking mechanisms, which helps them hold onto their prey. And their main diet is fish, but they also eat waterfowl, small mammals, rodents, and carrion. Their favorite way to hunt, though, is to steal from someone else. The great horned owl sees in black ears, and this way they can find their prey without actually seeing it. Their feathers have serrated edges like that of a saw blade, and this allows air to flow through, which helps them with their silent flight. To help them catch their prey, they have a reversible fourth toe, and their main diet is rodents, but they also eat small mammals, other birds, and sometimes snakes. We believe that both of these birds are females because of their size and weight. In the raptor world, females are always larger than males. Do you guys have any questions?
Why can't they do what happened to them?
Well, both of them sustained right wing injuries when they were in the wild, to where they're not able to sustain themselves on their own. With the eagle, her right wing or her right hand was amputated, so she doesn't have any of her long flight feathers on her right wing, so she's completely flightless. And the owl, her right wing was.
Yeah, with your curved knife. And if you guys want to ask me questions, any ladies, go right ahead. I'll just be working on this area. Take little curls.
How long will it take you to complete it from beginning to end?
This is a 3-month job that I have 5 months to complete. But they gave me a lot of time so we can talk. I have literally tens of thousands of people that come through that door from May until September. And so they gave me a lot of time to complete the poll. So go ahead and talk to me, it's fine.
Is it softwood?
It's a very soft wood. Not like balsa, but it's really a good soft.
Really soft.
And
So you
easy
can
to
easily